Senator Booker by WebEx.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I'm excited about the promise and possibility and opportunity that's going to be afforded so many families in peril and in crisis. As a senator that lives in a low-income Black and brown community where we don't confuse wealth with worth, to see the difference it's going to make for so many children and so many families who've been impacted by this pandemic is incredible. And the overall economy, as a Wall Street Journal, who's boosted their average forecast for 2021 for economic growth to 5.95% following the passage of this bill. And it's going to be really the fastest pace of growth we've seen since 1983 is what they're predicting. And that benefit, because this bill, unlike the toxic Trump tax cuts, which will cost about $1.9 trillion, where the top quintile saw most of the benefit, about 65%. This is actually going to help communities like mine and working people all across the country and all across the state of New Jersey really thrive and succeed. I'm also happy that we addressed a lot of the problems we were having. Justice involved entrepreneurs. We talked about this. We got it addressed in this bill, and I'm appreciative of Senator Rubio, Senator Cardin for speaking out and supporting my efforts there. We saw a lot of the smallest businesses, women of color, women and people of color really get more targeted support in this, as well as what we've already heard in the committee is the nonprofit organizations that have really been struggling. I want to turn my questions in my remaining time to Ms. Mensah. Your testimony, you outlined a number of issues that underserved business owners are still up against. Slow tech rollouts, delayed guidance from the SBA and Treasury, and the lack of communication really between the SBA and lenders and customers. And I've heard about these repeatedly from my constituents from North Jersey all the way to South Jersey, small business owners who are really struggling to get through what is a complicated process, trying to decipher the requirements at the kitchen table. The American Rescue Plan actually tried to address this by including $175 million to establish Community Navigator pilot program to improve the support that these small businesses and entrepreneurs are really receiving. Can you tell a little bit more, and I know you've talked about this a bit, but how CDFIs in your network are actually going to do the work, engaging that navigator role, and how we can expect that investment to translate into really better serving small business owners?
Thank you, Senator Booker, for your work and for explaining the crucial role of navigators. We think you got so much right in this plan. When you don't have a banker on speed dial or an accountant or a lawyer on speed dial, you need help. You need good advice that you trust. It's on the level that you trust. And that's where our CDFI partners come in. As I said, maybe 50 of our members actually make the CDFI loans out of their own resources. The others are active in actually helping borrowers and pointing them many times to community banks or others in their community. Where can you get this help? So this is what the Navigator grants will allow, all this technical assistance. And it's going to be important. It will be important in our rural communities, places where, people are familiar. We are rooted, and in our cities, like right in your hometown, we'll be there as a field of institutions to help people connect to these resources. We're the perfect partner, and we appreciate you listening. The only thing we need now is more time for this program to work. So this extension, a simpler time to get loans forgiven, and what we hope is more resources for the CDFI field in general, and more emphasis in the SBA on connecting once this program's done, so that we're there for the long haul for those businesses.
And just really quick in my remaining seconds, the time that you mentioned is so important right now. The revised loan calculations for sole proprietors, independent contractors, and self-employed individuals just put out by the administration just earlier this month has meant that a lot of sort of micro businesses get some relief. There was a North Carolina Black-owned florist shop that got a PPP loan of $525 earlier this year, now is eligible for $2,750. There's a Latino-owned marketing business that I heard about in California that received a loan of $1,500, now is eligible for $2,600. These are big difference is for those small micro businesses. And so just really quick to close me out, in your experience, if these micro enterprises had the time that they need and the resources to fully access the PPP, they could have been more successful in getting these loans. But right now, this time that you just talked about and that help could be a difference maker for tens of thousands of micro businesses around the country. Is that correct?
That's correct. The changes will be game changing. What we need is retroactivity, and we need the program to extend.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me the time. And I'm grateful for this very, very good panel.